Check 1 2 3. Check 1 1 2 2 3 3. Check 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 check. Elmar, boy, didn't you throw me a little curve the other day? Didn't know who you are. Very good. All right, let's see who's here. Dan is here. Marie is here. Merle, Jesper, Mike, Martin, Gilliam, Ed. Welcome, Ed. Kyle, Rudy. On TV channels, not sure. Is that John? Kenny, Carl, 174. Welcome back, 174. Giles, Elmar, Jan, Jerome, and JP. Hello, guys. Welcome. I've been fiddling around with all sorts of things, so not sure if I've got it right. How's the audio? How's the video? What's the good word? By the way, if you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter or Periscope or YouTube directly, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com right down at the bottom there, and you will have an opportunity to get in on this chat during the show. Jan says both are good. Okay, well, I cut the audio down just a hair because I was picking up a little bit of room echo and wasn't sure. Oh, and I've left the studio door open. That's that means I'm going to get intruded upon by Jack Russell Terriers. I don't know. Going to be an interesting show today. We've got what do we got on our sleeve? Let's see here. vMix had an update. Yes. .54. And Facebook streaming, and we're going to talk about that. And shortcuts, we're going to talk about that. And the battery pack, we're going to talk about. I don't think I had that on the stream, on the ticker. Oh yeah. And shortcuts and the interest in the possible interest in a U.S. or international professional streaming association. I want to talk about that a little bit too. Let's see. Oh, it's not Rudy. It's Rooney. Rooney for Wayne Rooney with Manchester United. Yes. All right. The video is kind of out of focus. Okay, good. That was a comment last week. We're using a new camera, and I'm going to try to focus it a little bit. And you guys tell me if this is right. So I'm going to give you one stop down in focus and tell me if this is clearer. Oops, that's zoom. That won't work, will it? Let's get one stop down on focus. There you go. So that's one stop down, and we've got about a 12-second delay today. So you tell me if that's better or worse. Better or worse. I tried this in the pre-show. Kind of my own little personal pre-show. Lemonade. And in the pre-show, I thought I had it pretty well spot on, but I must not. And Dan Slider is responsible for sending me, and I'm just so thrilled, my own little personal vMix guy. And apparently the vMix guy has glasses and a gray beard and gray hair. I wonder who that might be. And is carrying a big T-bar. And then they sent an X Keys 24 for Dan, the banana guy. So he's got that in his hands. So we're just in good shape here. We're in good shape here. All right, Anderson says, hey, Tom, I can get that little orange pop-up thingy removed. I accidentally clicked on it to move it, and it expanded. Now I cannot get it closed. Orange pop-up thingy. Nice, nice. Not quite sure. Okay, so you guys didn't have any comment on the focus, so I'm going to move it 2 clicks up. 1, 2. Is that better or worse? Hey, Christy, glad to have you here today. And looks like Samuel's here. Samuel's in the chat as North Car. Samuel is from Norway and was at a StreamCon. Good to see you again, Samuel. Actually, I don't see you, but I can pretend I see you. And how are we doing on time? We got a couple of minutes here. Rudy's here. Welcome, Rudy. We missed you before. Mike's here from Texas. Welcome, Mike. Joe's here. Hey, Joe. Joe is from what part of England? I never remember. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with names and locations. Anderson's here, but he's having problems with a little orange pop-up thingy. If anybody sees an orange pop-up thingy and can help him, that would really be great. Kyle is here. Kyle and his class are kicking my butt on the live streaming awards. Joe is from Sheffield. All right. Giles got a lot of noise here, so that may be affecting his audio. Okay. All right, let's see. Orange live chat button, orange pop-up. Okay, mine's not orange. The audio is a little bit lower, and I was trying that at the source, turning down the gain a little bit because I was picking up a little extra echo in the room. But if you think I should turn that back up, let me know. All right, Martin S. is here. Very good. All right, Mike says, seems a bit low, Giles. Tom S., I think the orange chat button's saying offline. Okay, I don't have one of those. No, Anderson is talking about the chat support system on your main web page. Ah, yes, that is offline. Thank you, Marie. Carl thinks the focus is okay. Jim says he turned it up just a tad. All right, let's turn it up just a tad. That's an 1/8 of a turn. All right, Giles says it's too low, Tom. I have to turn my TV up 100% to hear you properly. Anderson says, I got it minimized. Had to make the window small to see the X for closing. I usually watch the show almost full screen. Got it. Got it. Want to give a shout out and a welcome to those of you that are watching on Facebook or on YouTube directly or on Twitter or Periscope. Thank you. And welcome you to come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. That way you'll get the chat, because when we start the show, which we started, we'll start in -1 minute. That'll go away. All right, let's see. Jim says, also seems as if the camera isn't as sharp as it was last week. Well, Jim, we've been playing with the focus a little bit because I wanted to get some opinions from you guys on it. And let's see. Let's put that in. And let's see. Is that better or worse? I know it's worse. I think right there is going to be the sweet spot. You tell me. Right there. And I know it'll take a second for you guys to see it and get back to me. Anderson says he's on 720 and I look kind of soft. Is that a euphemism for I'm putting on some pounds? And welcome, Lucas. He's watching from Argentina. All right. Merle says it's close. Jim says that's better. Very good. Jim is right up the road. Is Tommy in the house? I wanted to see if Tommy was here, because we got him a new PC to thank you, Jim. That's better, he says, to loan him until his lightning ones get repaired. He got struck by lightning last week and lost 2 PCs. Ouch. Okay. Williams here says, sounds good here in Washington, D.C. Great. Martin says the audio is lowish. Okay. Well, we're gonna go up just a tad more. I think we're in good shape there. I'm going up at the source, so I'm just increasing the gain because everything else is good. All right, let's see. Giles says the PTZO cam tends to smooth the image too, but that's why it's so good at green screen. Anderson says it still is better, but not as sharp as usual. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Not as sharp as Tommy, says Martin. And Daniel, welcome Daniel, says looks pretty good on 720. That's all right. Elmar says he's already sold my PC. Giles says thank you so much for helping Tommy. Well, of course. I had to. You would have if you were right up the road. Gerald says it sounds good in Atlanta. Good. Jerome's here. Looks better. Good. Thank you. Marie says Tommy can't remember the URL for your my web page. Well, Marie, your day's coming, honey. It's probably 60 years in the future because you're only a teenager. But for the rest of us, sometimes we have to remember those things. The halos are out of alignment behind my head. Okay, how about that? That might be a little better. And the PC is now too fast for Tommy. There we go. All right. All right. It's not hot here, as you could tell from my video earlier, that we were getting a tropical storm that was supposed to dump a bunch of rain on us, but it missed us. It probably went to the north of the south, but it missed us right here. So we're fortunate, and I think we'll survive it. Let me do one thing before we get started with the show, and y'all introduce yourselves to each other there. Let's see who else. Jay Bird's here. I didn't mention him. John Duvall's here. Hey, John, welcome. Good to have you. Let's see. Looking down the list for folks that haven't already welcomed. Kenny, welcome. Kenny, glad to have you. Man, did I enjoy hanging out with you guys in Atlanta. That was great. Chad's here. Hey, Chad. Al's here. Al Bunt, Good Shepherd, one of my heroes, is here. Henry's here. Guest 373 is here. Welcome, 373. Now, we know that folks, when they're coming as a guest, of course, you're welcome to come in any way you want to, but when you come in as a guest and you assign yourself a number, a lot of times that has a significance for you. So if it does, share that with us, and that'll help us kind of get a handle on you. Let's see. Bill Lee is here. Jan, Gerald, Daniel, Jerry, JBC. All right. It's getting a little crowded in the chat, says Dan. All right. So let me do one thing, and I'll be right back. Let me pull out my earbuds, because otherwise I'm going to drag everything off the table. Now I can't hear you. I don't know why I wear them. I guess it's force of habit, because I don't have a guest with me today to listen, so I could probably leave them off. Hang on, I'll be right back. I was corresponding or chatting, or whatever you would call it, with Ken Ricker on Facebook yesterday about a device that Dan Slider and the guys at PI Engineering have that's some sort of switch that can be computer activated. He wanted to know if it would work with vMix. And so they were chatting around about it. It was kind of funny. But Ken said that you could use it to turn on the light that would be outside your studio that would be, say, on the air. I mean, it would be something you could program in vMix, and so I think that's going to be fun. I want to see how that comes out. All right, let's see. How are we doing? We got everybody here. All the important folks are here. There we go. So last thing, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube directly, Periscope, or Twitter, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click Watch Live so you can get the chat during the show. Because frequently folks will post things in chat that are really interesting, links to things I might be talking about, all sorts of things. So Giles is still having audio stuff. Okay, we're going to crank it up just a little bit more for Giles. Wow, that's about max right there. I'm using the Behringer UMC 404 HD. I did that, I think, for the first time last week. And so it's taken me a little while to get audio dialed in. Maybe I'm not going to be able to get the volume out of that I need to. and may have to make some adjustments. Chuck is here. Welcome, Chuck. Glad to have you. Let's look. Scott's here. Scott, welcome. Glad you made it. You know, better late than never. Who else? Matthew. Hey, Matthew. Glad you're here. Just don't want to forget anybody looking down the list. Folks that I might have already invited. I'm not mentioning your name again. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can get started here. And we're going to give this. What I've got is I've got a series of shortcuts that do a lot of things for me. And attached to the shortcuts are triggers that do other things for me. So if I've got everything right, it should work. It should work perfectly. I've got my setup today. I'll tell you about the setup. It's not part of the show. My setup today is my regular streaming PC, and then I'm substituting. I used to use my my Asus ROG laptop, the one with the what was it, the NVIDIA 985M card in it to do a lot of the processing, and it hummed along no problems, and it would stream and record. Today we're using, again, just trying to test out how low can you go. We're using vMix on a second PC that's in the rack here in my closet to the right, and it is based on an i7 second generation processor with 8 gigs of RAM and an AMD video card, I think HD 6500 series. So not a whole lot of video processing power, but enough that vMix sees it as having the ability to do hardware encoding. So we've got hardware encoding on recording and streaming. Those PCs are connected via NDI. That is, this feed that you're seeing right now is going to that second PC over NDI and taking the audio with it. And then here in my production PC, I've got some scripts set up to enact some shortcuts that start the recording on that one, and then allow me to make some rudimentary cuts. So, Andres, welcome. So that's the story so far. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So let's see if we can get this show started without tripping over something. And let's go. Let's try it. We're all in this together, by the way. All right, so here we go. We're going to fade to black. Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is, let me get that lower third back on. This is Streaming Idiots, and I am so glad that you are here live, and I'm so glad that you're watching us after the fact on Facebook or YouTube or wherever we've shown up. You know, it's funny to search things on the internet, and then all of a sudden some weird URL pops up, and in it is my video. It's like, how did that get there? But that's just the way the world is. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. If you're in the wrong place, it's kind of like the first day of school. If you're in the wrong class, just go on down the hall and find the right one. But hang out here for a bit. I think you'll have some fun. If you're watching us live, we're glad you're here. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube directly, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com, and you can click the Watch Live tab there at the top, and then you can get the chat room. The guys in the chat are really having a good time. So they're fussing right now at me. They were complaining earlier because the audio was too low. And then so I said, okay, let me turn it up a little bit, and I'll turn it up a little bit more. And now that the show started, they're like, whoa, wait, no, that's too loud. That's too loud. Maybe I need some compression. That's right. That's what Martin's saying. Okay, we'll work that out. It's this streaming stuff is a ton of fun. I was thinking about it earlier, kind of comparing the streaming equipment needed, especially the PC at the core of it, to either the family sedan that starts every time and runs great. You take it in and have it serviced, but if you need to go 180 miles an hour, it's not going to do it. And then on the other hand, you've got a NASCAR racing car that will go 180 miles an hour, but basically it needs a lot of extra maintenance because it can't go for very long at 180 miles an hour. And that's kind of the way the streaming PC is. You know, they're all perched on the edge of explosion, it seems like. So you never know. There's so many adjustments to make. And it is really an art. It really is an art. One day perhaps it'll be a science, but for now it's an art. We were playing in the pre-show with the focus on the camera and with the audio levels, and even really basic stuff like that. Coming up next month, I'm going to celebrate 5 years of live streaming this show and that VidBlaster guy show. They kind of went together for a while. And even after 5 years, there's still some rookie mistakes that I make every time. In fact, there might be a lot of rookie mistakes that I make every time. Today's kind of a smorgasbord, so I think there'll be a little something for everybody today. First off, I just want to tip my hat to Martin Sinclair and the guys at vMix, because they've pushed out another update, vMix 19.54. There's some zeros in there, but essentially it's .54. And in that are some new shortcuts that they've added. And you think, okay, when we bumped into Martin, we didn't bump into him. He gave the keynote address at StreamCon 2 weeks ago. He shared, and I shared a little bit last week, of some of the features that are going to be in vMix 20, vMix 2X as it comes out. And he's working on getting that ready. He said he had about half of the feature set in alpha. That means about half the feature set wasn't yet in alpha, and he's booking for a September beta. So he's got a lot of work to do. But yet at the same time, as he's working on vMix 20, which is amazing already in my mind, he takes time out to answer some of the feature requests in the forum of folks that needed some shortcuts for something because they had a project they were working on. They needed some shortcuts. He added the shortcuts. What kind of personal attention are you going to get from anybody else? Not that, I'll tell you that. So really, really, really cool, and hat tip to Martin Sinclair and the folks at vMix for being so responsive and for so sensitive and for caring so much about the community that they've developed. And I really appreciate that. By the way, I do need to mention that this entire show is a giant infomercial for my company, Eastern Shore Broadcasting. I'm a representative for vMix here in the U.S. and actually wherever you are in the world. So if you want to buy vMix, you can buy it from me and get personal tech support from me. Go to my store at Eastern Shore go to my store at easternshorebroadcasting.com, and you can get more information about vMix there. I also represent Magewell, those are the capture card folks, and PI Engineering, those are the X-Key folks, and PTZ Optics. And what do they sell? Oh yeah, that's right, PTZ cameras. and yes, I sell those, but I also know an awful lot about them. So when you buy one of those items from me, when you buy that item, you also get me. And that means it's like, okay, Tom, you've played around with this. Show me some of the tips and tricks. Got it. Let's do it. I can show you the tips and tricks. All of my clients have my cell phone number, so they can call when they're in a jam and they need help. That's the time to do it. Yep. And you can also email and send me a message over Facebook. Michael gives me messages over Facebook all the time. He's like, Tom, where does this plug in? Okay, it plugs in on the left side. Oh, okay, got it. Thanks, later. The reason I brought that all up is because our live streaming gear, which is our line of live streaming PCs, we have one tower case, or actually it's a mid-tower case. And if you go to the website, you can look at it. The new one looks exactly like the old one, except the new one it doesn't look exactly like the old one. The old one had a glass side panel so you could see inside, and we've basically just said, don't put the side panel on there, the glass on there anymore. We just want the metal side, and we've added insulation there, so that it absorbs some of the sound, so that the noise from the PC is really reduced. And if you've watched my show for a while, you know that in the early days, like 4.5 years ago, I was struggling with a lot of noise from my desktop because it was right there underneath this table, and it was putting off a lot of racket. And we think by adding the insulation to this PC that's going to help reduce a lot of that, kind of absorb some of that fan noise. And that's really the noise that you've got in there is the fan noise. So no extra charge. We're doing that as part of our regular lineup, and that's our mid-towers, the live streaming gear stuff in our store at easternshorebroadcasting.com. Yep, got that. Check that off the list. Check that off the list. Okay. Starting 3 different sentences at the same time. Does that ever happen to you? Let me give you the first sentence first. When we were at StreamCon 2 weeks ago, we found out that Facebook had blocked vMix from streaming using the API because vMix had inadvertently violated the terms of service that allowed people to stream to Facebook Live with an API and also to other services. And apparently that violates Facebook terms of service. Apparently, I don't understand it, and I could be wrong, but apparently Facebook doesn't mind if you use the RTMP method of streaming to Facebook Live. They just don't want you to use the API. So vMix fixed all that, and now vMix is Facebook compliant, and you can still use the API with vMix and Facebook Live, but you can't add a second stream. So if you're trying to do that now, that's why it doesn't work. And there are all sorts of notices all over the internet about that. But if you're like me and you live at the edge of the earth, you might not have gotten those notices. So how do you go back to doing that? Well, you can go back to doing that by streaming using the Facebook RTMP settings and then streaming to anything else. And I made a short video that should be through rendering by now. Let's hope. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. That talks about that, and let me cue that rascal up. I haven't. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to have stuff that you haven't prepared. I mean, that you prepared, but maybe you haven't watched to see. So we're gonna have a look at this guy, and see how it is and whether it works. So this is the process of using the RTMP settings in Facebook to stream in vMix. Take a listen. The first thing to do is to go to facebook.com/live/create, and that will bring you to this page. Next, click the Create Live Stream button in the middle of the page. Next, choose where you're going to share this video. We're going to share this in a group called Streaming Idiots. Yep, there it is right there on the list. And click Next. This window will populate gradually with the server URL and the stream key. Those 2 sets of codes need to be copied and placed into vMix as such. We'll bring in a vMix production. Hey, there you go. We'll click on our streamer. We'll find a custom RTMP streamer. Well, let's just create a new one. So we'll add, and this is going to be Facebook RTMP custom. And first we'll copy the server URL. And put that in the URL field. And then we'll copy the stream key and put that in the stream key field, and then we'll save, and then we can stream. It's that simple. Now if you want to include extras, yes, you can include a second and even a third, and you can use the APIs for these various destinations in that way. So it's really simple, not hard stuff. Just a matter of going to facebook.com/live/create and walking your way through. Yes, you can add a title and you can add some other tags if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And then once you go live on vMix, you want to come back to this page and go live on this page. And this field right here will populate with an image of what your video is. Go live. That's it. And that's it. That's it. So let's see. Sorry about the audio issues. That's what you get for not testing. And, you know, that's the great thing that I like about this show is that, you know, I screw up all the time and you guys get to see what happens when you do that. Yeah, Kenny says, now it's going to be loud when you return. Be careful. That's right. That's right. What I did is I turned up the gain in the channel just for that video. That's the beauty of vMix, is that every source you can adjust that source independently. And I turned up the gain in that particular one. Let's see. Let's check it. That was the Facebook Live. The gain was up about 8 decibels, 8 dB. And then also, just for fun, I turned up the master dB gain in vMix 2 decibels, as the Behringer UMC 404 HD is pretty well maxed out. It's not clipping, but it's maxed out. And again, you know, I'm using a shotgun mic that's let's see, what is that? Probably 24 inches plus or minus from my mouth, because I just don't like to wear a lapel mic. That's just me. You know, once you clear off a deck by pulling a corded mic with you, or being in the middle of a broadcast and have the batteries die on a cordless, you appreciate the unwired approach. Oh yeah, Merle says vote early and often. Thank you, Merle. Don't forget to vote in the streaming awards. The Streaming Idiot Show is up for Best Male Host, and we're currently overall in 8th place. Or 7th place. Let's see, do we have that? Bob, do we have that available over here? Let's see for a second. Yeah, there it is. We're in 8th place behind Marilyn Cuevas and Griswold Elementary School News. Now, the Griswold Elementary School News is the work of Kyle Gunderman. So hat tip to Kyle, a vMix guide. Number 4, Jeff Adams, is the top male host, and he's a vMix guy. And then number 1, Zach Adams with Cruise Week TV. That's for Best Production. Zach's the producer on that show, and he and I go way back to the VidBlaster days. And, of course, he's a vMix guy now, too, and also a member of Streaming Idiots. And then number 10 down at the bottom, Stephen Healy. I don't think he uses vMix, but he's a member of the Streaming Idiots group. So Streaming Idiots are doing pretty well. So pick out your Streaming Idiots guys there. You know, Stephen Haley, Tom Sinclair, Griswold Elementary, Jeff Adams, and Zach Adams, and give them a vote, so they can win whatever it is we win. And if I win anything, I tell you what, I'll bring it back here, and I'll have a little contest here and let you guys win it. So there you are. Dan has posted that in the chat, as has Giles, and Amnon is asking, where is the link to the voting? Well, I think everybody's answered that question for you. Kyle says it's all the 4th graders. He's just the tech support. Well, that's cool. That's cool. So make sure you vote for the Griswold Elementary School News. They've got 583 votes, and they can kick into 5th place with just another 50 votes or so. So there we go. Let's see. Boy, we're running out of time. We got too much stuff. I didn't want the day to get away without showing you a new toy that I got. It's an X-Power battery pack, and let's see if I can get it without a reflection on it. There we go. And Howard Jones was using this at StreamCon, and he was powering a camera and a radio off of the same pack. And at one point we were and also an HDMI to Ethernet converter. And so he said, Tom, you got to get one. So I went and got one, and I'm not powering anything with it right now because here it is. But oh, did I forget Giles? Giles, I'm sorry. Vote for Giles in the streaming awards too. Actually, Giles is on there. In fact, there are probably a lot of folks here that are. Martin Sinclair's in it. Tim Vandenberg is in it. Jan is in it. Looking through here, who else was nominated? Golly gee, I am so terrible about that. Oh, Jim Jacobs. Jim Jacobs, he's here today. He was nominated, so vote for them too. I was just showing you the top 10. My bad. Anyway, back to this. This is a great little guy. I haven't tested yet to see how long a PTZ camera will operate with this. I'm sure it depends on how often you pan, tilt, or zoom. But I'm going to be experimenting with this some in the future. It was about $60 on Amazon, and it is the X. I guess is it XI or XT? It's hard to see. XT Power MP 10,000. XT Power MP 10,000. There you go. And it comes with all sorts of gadgets. I mean, if you like gadgets, you're going to like this. It comes with a whole bag of adapters for every cell phone known to man. It comes with some barrels that will allow it to power different laptops. That's what I'm using it to power one of the cameras. It comes with a car charger, so you can charge it in the car. It comes with of course, a regular DC charger. It comes with a USB adapter so that you can plug from cell phone to things. And if you live wherever these plugs are, it has one of these. So I don't know where that's from. It's definitely not Alabama, but I bet it's Louisiana or Mississippi. It's probably one of those places where they have those fancy plugs. Anyway, it's really cool, and I look forward to doing some mobile computing with that in the near future. So that it's tested. Howard has tested it extensively. That's why I bought it. It's the XT Power MP 10,000, Amazon, about $60. Prime, you get it free shipping. It comes in 2 days. I think mine came in a day, and I think actually mine came in a day. Ordered it on Saturday and got it Monday. That was pretty amazing. So, Jan tells me that's the most commonly used connector in the world. Of course it is, Jan. Of course it is. The fact that I don't know anything about it, you can just rub my face in it. All right, let's see. Golly, we're going over time, but we did start a few minutes late, so we got time. I do want to cover, I've got 2 more things on the agenda, and I do want to get this in. Oh, Jim says to mention our graphics project. Yes, Jim, I'm so sorry. Jim Jacobs with FNN Network is doing and Ray is in the chat room saying vote for him too. He's with, that's right, Ray, I nominated you, didn't I? Anyway, Jim and I are working together on this graphics process for football, but it would work for probably any sport, and we'll be putting it on the website soon. Basically it's a full customized graphics package. I mean the full deal for your football team. It's $185. We'll have it on soon with some samples of what it looks like. And you can and we will customize it, and also send you the raw file so you can customize it yourself. So there's lots of cool stuff. When I say we, I really mean Jim. I don't mean me. I just want to make that clear, because you've seen. I mean, I'm not a graphics guy. I don't do graphics. All right. One of the things that came out at StreamCon, was a lot of great conversation. The same thing happened at NAB, and David, and I don't remember David's last name right now. Anyway, David suggested at NAB that we need to put together It could be formal, it could be informal, but an association, a society of professional streamers. And I know that Rich Ignacio has been working to put together kind of a referral list so that if you've got a gig you can't handle, you can refer it to somebody else, or if somebody's looking for a streamer, that they can use that list and find somebody that's relatively close to them. So the other thought was, maybe StreamCon could kind of become an annual meeting for this group of folks so that we can get together and see each other eyeball to eyeball. NAB is a great time to get together, but there's so much going on, there's so much to see, and by the time you've seen it all, you're just absolutely exhausted. But something that's a little slower pace and that's streaming only, like a StreamCon, would be a great annual meeting for a group like that. So if you are interested, Alan's saying in there, if you are interested in joining something like this or in helping create it, let me know. And I can be at least initially kind of a little kind of a center point to help pull things together. And obviously when you create this kind of organization, it needs leadership. It needs people that are willing to invest time, their own time, in helping push it forward and announcing it and putting together the framework that it's going to operate under. It can be a pretty big task, but at the same time, it can be a real labor of love if you really want to help this industry grow. And there are lots of groups that you can join. The Streaming Idiots Facebook group right down here. If you haven't joined it, you need to. Facebook.com/groups/Streaming Idiots. We only need 7 more people to get to 700. That's a great group, and it's a great discussion. And I would say easily 24 hours a day, there's somebody that's engaged in a discussion in that group. It's a wonderful resource, and I love reading it. I can't wait to read it. And I love it because most of the guys in there are smarter than me, so I can learn it. I can read and learn from them. But I think we need something that's a little bit more structured to be able to move this industry forward in kind of a less haphazard manner. Something where we're thinking about what's going on in the future, where we're mapping out professional standards of ethics, standards of systems, of what your capabilities are. Things that'll help the general public or the purchasing people that need live streaming services. It'll give them some sort of standards to go by. You've seen that at least here in the U.S. You've seen it with the legal profession. That's the bar. Every state has its own bar, and you have to pass the bar in order to become a lawyer in that state. Frankly, I wish most of them would fail it, but in fact, most of them did the first time. Not to be an architect, but to be considered a real professional in the trade, you belong to the American Institute of Architects. So there are these professional societies that set the standards for what it takes to be excellent in that industry, and that's what I'm proposing. That those of us and others get together and kind of form this group. We write our own Declaration of Independence and our own Constitution and our own amendments to the Constitution, Bill of Rights or whatever. And I think we could help the industry move forward and possibly protect ourselves from the inevitable land grab that's going to happen by the big guys out there that want to grab everything up for themselves. So we can be, what was it, the Broadcast Streamers Association. There we go, the BSA. Well, that's Boy Scouts of America, so we may try something else. Giles is, so I'm off my soapbox about that. Giles is announcing in the chat room that StreamFest Live, the International Online Streaming Festival, will be August 5th. And more information, you can find more information at, can somebody give me a URL or there? All right, Alan is saying that he is in Kansas City and he is bringing guests in remotely for a panel discussion at the American Association of Woodworkers, I think is what that is. And so that would be cool, Alan. We would love to have a link to that in the Streaming Idiots group so that we can watch and give you constructive criticism. Yeah, yeah. Okay. We don't have any information back yet on StreamFest as to how to find out more about it. But if you come to the Streaming Idiots group or the World of Live Streaming group, that's World of Live Streaming, then you would get more information about StreamFest. And Alan says it's the Word Turners Association. So Guest 570 says, okay, call it the Digital Broadcasters Association. The DBA. There you go. Okay, Giles posted a link, stepbackintime.tv, and you can find more information about StreamFest. That's stepbackintime.tv. StreamFest coming up August 25th. We did not get to our shortcuts this week. Oh, what the heck. It's an internet show. We can go over in time just a little bit. Let me show you a little bit of what I've done here. So I've got to add a desktop capture input, and it'll take me just a second here, and I'm just going to capture the whole display. There we are. Get that cord out of the way. Oh, and by the way, hat tip to the guys at PI Engineering. Those are the Streaming Idiots. They're not the Streaming Idiots folks, the X-Key folks, because they just sent me an extra guy. You see Dan the Banana Man on the right, and in his hand is a facsimile of an X-Key 24 right there. And next to him is the vMix guy. And the vMix guy has gray hair with glasses and a faint gray beard. And I wonder who that could be. Yeah, I wonder who that could be. And he's holding the X-Keys 124 T-bar control. So I guess you can say in some ways that I have arrived. I have been immortalized as Lego. Well done, Dan. Thank you. And thank you to Miranda and Maggie and all the other folks that had a hand in it. I think it was Miranda that sent it on to me. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at my desktop for a second. And I don't mean the one right here because it's a mess, but I mean my vMix desktop. And of course, we're going to go to infinity over there in the top right one. But don't worry too much about that. And if you go into settings, top right-hand corner, and you pull up your settings, you can go into something called scripting. See that down here in the left-hand column? You can go into scripting. And here in scripting, you can write some scripts that allow one PC to take over the vMix control of a second PC. And so let's see, let's edit this start ASUS record script. And I don't know how clearly you can see that. Let's take just a second. Yeah, hold on a second. Let's go back in here to this one, and we're going to sharpen it, number one. There we go. Now we'll go back to settings. We'll go back to scripting. We'll take the number one script and we'll edit it. Hopefully you can see that a little better. And I just cut and pasted this. I'm not understanding what I'm doing other than understanding that this IP address right there is my second computer sitting over here to the side, and that I can tell it to start recording. And we'll just close that. And I've assigned that start ASUS record script, and we'll close that. Oh no, we need it back. We'll go into shortcuts, and right there is the Start ASUS Record shortcut. Now I've assigned it to my X keys right there, and its function is a script start. And basically I cut and pasted that name from the script area. And so now we'll save that. Whenever I push a button on my X keys that says Start ASUS, it starts the recording on this second laptop that's over here to the side. Let's see if I can give you a look at that one. For the longest time, everything to do with that laptop kind of lived in the yeah, there we go. That's a good shot of the desktop. And so this guy right here is that second PC I'm talking about. This is the one that's doing the streaming. You can see him streaming right there and recording right there. And then this is my vMix production on my main PC. And then there's another monitor off to the right and my Lemonade. And this mic is not in use. So you're going to say, oh, no wonder his audio was so low, because he's got his mic sticking way over there, but that's not it. And so I've just got a KVM switch that allows me to use the same keyboard and mouse and switch between these controllers. I wonder, Dan Slider, would an X key work on a KVM switch? I have to try that. That would be cool. So anyway, this little guy is streaming and recording, and it's being controlled by this computer over here with very, let me see if I can bring it up again, very fundamental functions. Let's see, where were they scripting? I've got one that starts the recorder. Now it says start ASUS, but that's just left over from when I used it in my laptop. So I'm starting the ASUS recording and stopping it recording, starting it streaming and stopping it streaming, and then something they call cut to close and cut to show. And basically those are, and I'll show you those right now. Let's go back to this main shot for just a second. So when I hit the cut to close button, it takes us over to that second PC, and so you're actually seeing and hearing the music that's playing on that second PC and seeing the graphic image that's on that second PC. And I don't ever use the follow for audio, except in this case I did, so that when the live show feed switched into preview from program, it turned off the show feed audio and it turned on the audio that was attached to that image. Now basically I just took that image, it was an input, and then in multi-view I assign the audio to that input so that the audio travels with it and turns off and on as it does. So that's with no knowledge of anything that I'm doing. I mean, I'll be real honest about that. It was cut and paste, it was experiment, it was trial and error. And if I can make it work, you can make it work. Now I did have a side conversation. No, I better not say that, sorry. So maybe next week we'll experiment with plugging X keys into the KVM and seeing if we can control different PCs indifferently. So that'll be fun. So lots of questions there. Lots of questions there. I'll try to get to them in post-show. We're going to wrap this one up. Thanks so much for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube after the fact and you've made it here to the end of this video, you may as well subscribe. Thank you very much. We'd appreciate it. If you're watching on Facebook, by all means, join the Streaming Idiots Facebook group. It's a lot of fun, and you'll learn a ton, and you'll meet some great people that'll help you out. And I think I could say a lot of folks that'll go to the extra mile for you. They'll test things for you and help you figure out where your problems are. And there's nothing like having live people that that are really users of the software to do that. And also, advertising, easternshorebroadcasting.com if you need vMix or Magewell or PTZ Optics or X-Key products, or if you need consulting on PCs and streaming, I can help you with that. I'm Tom Sinclair. It's been my delight to come to you today. I can say all this with just one breath. Take care. We'll see you. We see you next week's show. Next week. Next week. I better not say because I'm not sure and I don't see it on the board. So anyway, next week we're going to have a great show. I hope you're there. If you're watching us live, stick around because we'll be in post-show in just a second. Y'all take care. And so now I'm going to press the button that says stop recording. And we're out. All right. And let's go to the post show. We're in the post show. Woo! Post show, post show, post show. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. You know, I am trying to set the bar low so that you guys can exceed it. Pedro, if you can't get here on time, show up before the end of the show. That's right. That's the way to do it. That's right. Better not than. Can I email you that script? Sure. I can put it in chat right now. The script is, you know, I got to be honest. I'm not sure where I got the script. I probably got it from the vMix forum is probably where I got that script. But this is the script for me to start recording. That's it right there. Okay. Nick, Craig is here. Hey, Nick. Glad to have you, man. My music is awfully low. Yeah, you know, golly gee. I got to go back through and test all that again. That's what happens when you change things and then don't test it out later. Thank you, Kyle. It was a lot of fun. Joe says the script is a nice, simple VB.net HTTP request. And it's so simple that I don't even understand it. Yep. Jan says that was a few too many presses. Well, it was extra presses because I wanted to... what did I want to do? Oh, I just wanted to chat. Just give you that little thing at the very end. But yeah, I could tell it to stop recording and switch to pre-show, post-show. Yep, that would make sense. See, that's the beauty of this. Ray says, see, Tom is using YouTube for CDN. Yeah, but I'm not charging, Ray. That's it. It's free, and it makes a nice free recording. And actually, I'm sending out the YouTube feed, assuming it's still streaming. It dropped a couple of times earlier. I'm sending the YouTube feed at 6 megabits per second, 1080p, which I know YouTube is going to dumb it down for everybody that can't catch 1080p. And so it works really, really well. And then Facebook is getting 720, but I think Facebook is transcoding it too. All right, Joe says, you, meaning me, I guess, you could even check the response it sends to see if the call was successful. Yeah, right. Like I would know what that meant. If you want to have some error checking. I don't check errors. Martin S. wants a Lego man. I love it. A Lego man with dreads. Oh, that would be great. PI Engineering, that's Dan Slider. That's the X Keys guy. Yes, it says, audio is hard, T. Sinclair. Actually, what I say, Dan, is audio is hard. Nick says, keep an eye on the sky. Yeah, we're under tornado watch. Yep. Not a warning, I don't think, but last I heard it was a watch. Yep. Amanula is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. And guest 570, by the way, welcome 570. A script is merely a command code. That is correct. It is a foreign language is what it is. It's a foreign language. And I don't speak that language, but I can mimic it. It's like, you know, I can ask I think in Spanish, I can ask where the bathroom is. I just can't understand the reply. Maybe somebody will just point for me. That's it. All right. They're doing a Lego of Martin. Carl says, to stream to Facebook, do you have to use a group? No. You can use a group. You can use an event. You can use a page. You've got all that. All right. Christy says, way cool. Christy, I'm with you. I'm with you. This stuff is amazing, isn't it? It is so much fun. All right. Oh, Marie says there's already a Lego figurine with dreads. Sorry, dreads. Nick says I'm under a tornado warning right now. So if things start shaking, you know that's not a good thing. Thank you, Nick. But Marie says, but the girl it's a girl with dreads. You'd have to pack a few pounds on that chick, I think, to get to Martin. No offense, Martin, of course. I'm packing on the pounds too. Look at the finger that is pointing. Ha ha ha. That one or that one? That's the broken one. Yeah, you see the broken one. How do you ask for the bathroom in Spanish? I think it's, well, but see, I get French and Spanish mixed up because I spoke both of them. I didn't speak them. I took them in school. It's something like, ue la baño, baño. Maybe that's the combination of the two. All right, Samuel says, do you need a vMix 4K or Pro version on the second PC? That's a good question. Samuel, I don't know. I know you need 4K or Pro on the scripting PC. Now, whether you need it on the other one or not, I don't know. I've got Pro on both of them, so that's the thing. Does anybody know the answer to that question? That's a really good question. All right, Jan's got it. You just need script support on the primary PC. The second will have the web API regardless of the version. There we go. I didn't read far enough. Okay, something about Loco. Oh, yeah. All right, 570 says, I finally downloaded the trial for vMax. It's vMix, but that's okay. It's probably just a typo. And I also have OBS, and I'm playing with both of them, having great success. Good. I think what you'll find is that vMix is much less CPU intensive than OBS, especially if you have a good graphics card. Giles is rolling on the floor laughing. I think that would be... there we go. Christy's like, Don está el cuarto de baño? Oh, ¿Dónde está el cuarto de baño? Oh, well. I'm sure somebody would have taken pity on me and pointed in a direction. And Giles says, yes, Jan was right. Anderson says, that is French and Spanish. That's why you have to look where the finger's pointing. That's right. Okay. And Amanula says, let me say something in Spanish. Mucho trabajo, coco dinero, doing a lot for nothing. There we go. Pedro's got it. Quiero ir al baño. Thank you. So it's right there. OBS NDI. I don't know anything about OBS NDI. I did see that post, and it looks really interesting. Congratulations to OBS for putting NDI in. I also understand that Wirecast now has the ability not only to receive NDI, but to send NDI. I don't know how much it can send, but I know it can send. Probably program out whether it's like vMix, where it can send individual cameras, individual audio sources, individual other individual items. I don't know. Udall. Hey, Udall. She says, can I control vMix from my Surface Pro? Yes. As long as they're on the same network, you can use the vMix web controller. And then you just open a browser window on the Surface Pro and type in well, let's see. Let me show you. Because that is one thing I know. Let's go back to this shot for just a second. And we're going to go to settings. Is that it? Web controller. Yeah. And that's the URL right there that you would type into the remote PC. And then the remote PC would have available this. Any of the shortcuts that you have set up in your PC would be available on that PC. Now, the caveat, of course, is that both PCs have to be on the same local area network. Okay, Jim says, the script works, Tom. Just stop streaming on another PC in my building from the desktop vMix. Good. I don't want you to stop me streaming. That day is coming, guys. That day is coming. It's going to be simple. It's just going to be an IP address and a command. I see the day where it's just going to be what it's going to be in vMix. It's going to be an IP address, and then it's going to be a either a command or a shortcut. And it'll be a format like IP address, well, just like you do a shortcut right now. It's going to be, what the key is, and that'll be the IP address, and then what the command is, and then that which you're commanding, the function and the object of the function. Yep. Okay, so Giles says apparently OBS can output NDI, which is rather cool. Now Linux can be an NDI source, maybe. Jim says, will scripting work over VPN? Sure. I mean, I haven't done it, Jim, but I don't see, in theory, it should, because in theory, you're still on the same network. As long as you've got a network address, you can do that. Giles says it should. Joe says yes. So if Joe says yes, you can take that one to the bank. You can take that to the bank. That's good stuff. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Periscope, and you want to see the chat room in bigger letters, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com right down there at the bottom and click the Watch Live tab, and you can get in on the whole gig. Yep, and Live Streaming Gear, by the way, is our brand, livestreaminggear.com. I think right now it just forwards to Eastern Shore Broadcasting, but that's our PC line. All right, Joe says you could actually port forward and control from anywhere. So we just need to fiddle with Tom's router and we can control his stream. That would probably be an improvement. That would be fun. That would be a great fun experiment, though, to be able to remotely switch. Yep, I like that idea. Yep, I'm getting a notice on my phone that says there is a tornado warning. How about that? Until 3 p.m., 3:15, which is in 15 minutes. Oh, take shelter now is what it says. And that was like right now. So maybe I need to see what the weather looks like. Excuse me just a second. I want to make sure I'm not in the path of a tornado. Nick tried to warn me, and I wasn't paying attention to him. Ooh, that looks nasty. Nope, that's not it. Where's the... I don't want to go to video. I want to see the radar. There we go. Radar. Don't pay attention to my panic. Give me just a second to see if I need to duck under my desk. Looks like we might be okay. Hard to say. We still have internet, though. That's a good sign. Okay. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at. Add input web browser. We'll put the URL from the weather channel there and give it a second to populate. Sometimes it takes longer than a regular browser to populate. Bottom bum bum. Yeah, here we go. This is what's going on around me, and I'm kind of right under the little spinny thing in the middle, and so it's taking you back for the last probably the last hour and showing you what's going on there. And it doesn't look that awful, but you know, it doesn't take much to spawn a tornado, probably. I didn't think this section of the storm was going to be coming in until later. It looks just like a rainstorm, doesn't it? Isn't that something? I mean, I'm going to show you the future broadcast. Yeah, I mean, I know you don't care. I wouldn't if I were you. Excuse me. Just. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. All right. Let's go back to normal here. And am I wearing foil on my head? No, but sometimes when I put my head in the right spot, it looks like I have like bunny ears or something. I need to fix that photo. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Pre-show, post-show. There we go. Multi-view. Multi-view. Where is the browser? Eastern Shore. Current time. She light. Pre-show lower third. Oh, I see. It's the whole window. Well, never mind. I don't think I can do anything with that. Yeah. Whoops. Now I've done it. How about we just do that? There we go. There we are. There we are. Okay. Martin K likes it when I'm close to the top there. Oh, you guys didn't get to see what I was doing. There we go. Okay, so that's a nasty little storm coming our way. I see Kyle Hillman is in the chat today. Kyle is coming on the show, right, Kyle? When he can find some time. Kyle is an airline pilot, but he also is a vMix automation expert because he's got a bunch of PTZs and at his church and has done all sorts of amazing things using shortcuts and triggers to make those guys control themselves and dance and sing tunes and all that stuff. So keep your eye out. So when you hear that Kyle's going to be on the show, you want to make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be great. And since he's a pilot, he's also an expert on weather to worry about. So thank you, Kyle, for that approach. Tom's new theme song, Whoops, I Did It Again. Yeah, you guys just like poking fun at me. And I'm just a glutton for it. What can I say? I got you into this mess, though. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Periscope, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and you can get in on this chat thing. Well, yeah, but you could get in on it. You could talk back. All right, let's see. Philip Kloss, hey Philip, is asking, Tom, will there be plans for a Thunderbolt 3 bolt with the Magewell Flex 4i20? Possibly. We need to work with the manufacturer of the chassis that we use. The chassis is now a Thunderbolt version 1 chassis. And I don't think the Magewell Flex 4i20, that's 4 in, 2 out, I don't think the chassis has enough bandwidth for that one. So, but that's a good question. We'll look into that. Philip, appreciate that. Oh, Kyle says just one PC that does it all. I love it. That's even better. Martin S. says, poking gets your vMix license revoked. That's right. Who was it? Was it Kyle? No. It was Kenny. It was Kenny that poked, I think. He poked Tim, and he got his license revoked. Okay. Marie says, it is just through love, Tom. I agree. All right, Alan Z says, did you see my wish list item above? No, I did not, because I was looking at the radar to make sure that I wasn't going to get blown up by a tornado, Alan. Come on. All right, let me go back and look. Looking for something from Alan that says, Alan is too far back there. I can't find it. You'll have to copy it and bring it up. Okay, Udall says, does vMix have plans for adding a chat feature? I have asked Martin that, and Martin says no. We will never be adding a chat feature. He says because simply it's a feature that's already there, and it really is not in the vMix roundhouse of features to add, because it's something that would be on a page, and vMix is really not on a page. vMix goes to a CDN. Let's see. Tough. Otis, hey Otis, says, look at NOAA. They're keeping an eye on the weather in Texas. Be careful. Make sure we have an advance notice when Kyle comes on. When Kyle, not the storm Kyle. I was like, we went from Cindy or Kathy or whatever it is to Kyle all in one day. I will make sure you have advance notice when Kyle comes on. We'll put out a hurricane warning. That's right. Martin S. has rejected both, that would be Martin Sinclair, has rejected both the intercom and chat features. Yes, he has. Yes, Martin Sinclair. There we go. Tough love. Martin S. says, I haven't, John. Ha ha. And Chad says he uses bus A for an IFB. That is an internet full basket. Yeah, IFB. Philip says, but intercom built into vMix would be just more than wonderful and powerful. But it would be so device specific. That's the thing. And I don't think that Martin wants to get into anything that's going to, other than the current hardware configuration that he's in with the CPU and the graphics card. He really doesn't, and the capture cards too, I guess. He really doesn't want to get into a bunch of other stuff because it's the support aspect of it. And I think the payback for him is just not there. All right, John L. says, Philip, true and agree, but we are both too much off scope. Yeah, I agree. All right, Chad said he'd love to have a preset packager that would bring all media used in presets into a common folder so I could use it on any vMix machine. A preset packager. So something that would take a look at the preset, find all the sources in the preset, copy them, and put them on a thumb drive? Is that what you're talking about? Marie says, English is hard. Yes, Marie, it's kind of like audio. All right, Dan says, Tom, we should discuss KVMs and X keys. They can be finicky and vary from brand to brand. Ah, good to know. Thank you. Well, I've got one. I'll test it. If it doesn't work, I won't use it. But it would be interesting in some situations. Giles says, yes, it is unambiguous. Definitely. Extreme alert. Now the warning is in my area until 4 o'clock. Take shelter now. Well, I am in shelter. And I've only got 49 minutes. Jan says there are a lot of chat and intercom systems out there. No real value in creating another. Guest $4.99. First time here. Welcome, $4.99. Glad to have you. I'm new at this. But I do operate a TriCaster Mini HD and will be installing PTZ cams outside my home in Seattle soon. Your hardware setup looks interesting. $4.99, just clarification, vMix will control some brands of PTZ cameras, actually from within vMix. You can actually pan, tilt, and zoom the camera and create presets that become different inputs in vMix, but it's a limited number of cameras that do that, and it's only I think the vMix 4K version But if you're downloading and playing with the trial edition, that's equivalent to the Pro. Excuse me, goodness gracious, that's the Pro edition, which is the top one. So have it a go and let us know how it works. All right. John S. Jan, excuse me. Oh, Joe, excuse me, said the issues with a packager is that it would have to rewrite all the paths to every file so that it could be restored, and there's no certainty that the drivers would exist on the new machine. Good point, Joe. Good point. All right, Giles says, everybody, let's enjoy the last 49 minutes of Tom's life according to his phone. Yeah, well, you'd feel really bad if that ended up being the case, and so would I. Let's cut back over there and let you just see. See, I'm that little dot in the middle, and all that stuff is going to pass by me until we get to the very end, and then kaplowy, we get nailed. Yeah, I need to refresh that little window, whatever it is. Let's see, can we refresh? Goodness gracious, what is going on with that thing? Let's try again. Excuse me just a second, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not going to die. If I am, I want to have some advance warning. Chad says the rewriting is easy. It's the drivers that you'd have to already have in place. Yes. Otis says, get out now. Well, Otis, where am I going to go? That's the problem. I need to go to the basement, but I don't have one of those. All right. Carl says, kaplowy. Is that one of those like rolling on the floor laughing? And I just don't get it. All right, Tommy's back. Larry the Cable Guy just left. Welcome back, Tommy. Woo! Glad to have you, dude. You fought hard to get back here. Joe says you could use the API status to get all the details. There you go. Michael Graves, welcome, Michael. My former employer had a similar package capability. It could ball up all the assets into a zip file so that it could be used to migrate the project to another host. There you go. I like it. I like it a lot. It also allowed for each archives of projects with assets. Yeah, I was loading a preset this morning, and I had deleted by accident one of the assets in the preset. And I had to go to another PC and find it. But if I had it on a thumb drive. Jan says, why bother with drivers? The package only needs to create inputs, multi-views, triggers, etc. It's trivial to take an input and swap out the device when one is present in that system. All right, Tom S., are you responsible for Tommy being back on the air? Well, I shipped him the PC. I don't know. He's responsible for the rest of it. All right, Alan says the wish list is for a basic HD license to be able to join a vMix call session set up by an HD Pro 4K license. You can't do that? Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have vMix call. Well, yeah, Alan, and you know, in deference to vMix, you know, they got to get paid sooner or later, and $60 for the basic HD is just a pittance. The basic HD is only out there for folks that need a second PC to be able to do something like I'm using this one over here to stream and record, or to just because you can't afford anything today, but you need to have something that can stream a camera and a microphone and do a graphic, and so you've got $60. But vMix is not going to add a single feature to basic HD ever, unless it's just a basic feature that's in everything. I think that's just that's the lay of the land, and we got to accept it and move on from it. Tommy's feeling really sentimental there. I love you, Tom Giles, Jan Merle, Dave Rudy. We love you too, man. All right, Carl's got to go back to work. Thank you, Carl. I'll stay safe. Jim's like, what about me, Tommy? That's right. Jan says, that's why we need the packager to collect and group all the files together. I agree. I agree. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Tommy, you know, I wish you had been at StreamCon because you could have met Samuel there. Because I think you would have enjoyed his company. Ed just got back. Let's get the show going. Okay, there we go. Let's see. 3, 2, 1 action video. Is that... I can't call a name right off the top of my head. Help me. Help me, help me, help me. Let's see. Guest 718, welcome. Guest 570, welcome. I think I already welcomed you, though, didn't I? Amnon's still here. He must be really bored today. Jerry's here. Hey, Jerry. Glad you could make it. Otis, Mike got you guys already. Philip got you. Dave is here. Hey, Dave. Dave's not here. Martin's here. Martin Stuckey, welcome. Matt's here. Hello, Matt. Selensky's here. Selesky. Glad to have you. And Udall, I've already recognized Udall. I love Udall. She is beautiful. Let's see what else. Who else have I missed? I guess that's about it. And then there are another dozen folks watching on YouTube, and then who knows watching on Facebook. So we're good. All right, let's see. Jerome asks, what is Be Live? Jerome, I be not know. It's some sort of Facebook synthesis kind of thing that they're trying to get off the ground so they can sell it to Google, I think. Oh, goodness. Dan says, Tommy, did the lightning hit your still? You mean while he was still? You don't mean you do mean yeah. Jerry says, hey. Udall says, love you too. Udall came and hung out with me and Oscar in Mobile for 2 days doing vMix stuff. How is it coming? Are you moving forward? Have you started to do some of the things that we talked about? Michael Graves said, did you see that WebRTC is supported in Safari 11? Yes, that implies vMix call from Mac desktops without requiring that they install another browser. Yeah, but what about iPhones? That was the key. It was the iPhone. Jan says, I know Daniel, but I'm a messy head. I have files all over. I need your help. All right, Udall